Post game here, we're in Coleman Coliseum. The coaches are talking down below us here, and big loss for Alabama. Tennessee takes control of the SEC race now. Not over yet, but the Vols now control the path, the destiny.
Who do they have left?
That's a great question. Let's hear that. They don't have Alabama or Auburn. Those were the two other good teams. Right?
Well, I don't know. I'm going to find their schedule.
Okay. We're populating here, but we're in Coleman Coliseum. That's Taylor Korn. I'm Jim Dunaway. McCurry Car and Truck Rental brings there all of our game day coverage in basketball throughout the year. And that started early today for this young lady. She was over here for college game day, where they had about 1,800 to 2,000 students and a few other fans in here for the game day. That turned out to be a pretty exciting little day here for basketball, except the end result was not very good for the Alabama fans. Kalen DeWar was here, Nick Saban was here, a lot of other people were here as they turned the lights out, trying to get people to leave the stadium now. Yeah. Imagine that, we're in Coleman with a little lights on and off. Oh, the lights look pretty good when they turn it on. Yeah, I like it. We don't want to leave. Tennessee fans are here. A lot of the players' family for Alabama still on the other side. We'll get some comments coming up here at some point, right?
Yeah, hard fought with the drought club. I sent something out on the next round. I believe that I sent it out on Facebook, but there was a stat. It was, let me find it. It was with 3:18 remaining. Alabama was 0 of 6. 0 of their last 6 field goal attempts, 1 of their last 14, and I think they scored free throws, but hadn't scored anything from the field in the last 7 minutes of the game.
Hard to win with when you go through the shooting drought, as they're saying there. It was a weird basketball game because usually Tennessee, Rick Barnes teams and Alabama are usually really a physical game where you almost have to draw blood to get fouls called. But this game was really officiated really tight. And even though they got Alabama in foul trouble, I thought it sort of benefited Alabama for them to call it so tight because it really takes Rick Barnes and them out of what they really like to do, being a smothering, handsy defense. And
it was a physical game.
Yeah, but not as physical as it usually is. So it sort of was officiated. Alabama got in foul trouble. I thought to Alabama's benefit, they just didn't make the shots when they needed to make it at the end. But early on, while Alabama was adjusting to the way the game was going to be officiated, some of those screen fouls I didn't think were fouls, especially in the history of Tennessee and Alabama games. I didn't really think they were foul calls on the screens that were being called, but that's the way the officials decided to call it. I thought that later on was going to benefit Alabama, but just too much foul trouble from Grant Nelson again. He had it in the last game. They survived that at Ole Miss. They don't survive it tonight. He goes, gets 4 fouls with about 13 to go. Fouls out with about 6:43 to go. That's not really good.
How many did Dalton have? He didn't. I mean, he wasn't a super big impact player.
He had a big 2 late, but he only had 13.
Okay, that's what the last time I looked, he had 11, and then I was like, is this going to be his lowest scoring game? Because
Alabama sort of controlled him in the earlier game up there, but they lost by 20 in Knoxville. Relatively speaking, to say 39 against Auburn the other night. But 13, Dalton Connect didn't kill you, but you had a lot of people that were in double figures. Tennessee very balanced tonight as they go. Adu had 12, Connect had 13. Ziegler, who is just so good, had 18. He's just so good at the point game.
Watching him play like at eye level he looks so tiny, especially when he's dribbling and he's kind of bent down. Like he's so quick and he's so little, which I feel like in some ways benefits him a little bit.
It felt to me like Sears had an off night, but then at the end you look, he's got 22 again. The guy always has 20 plus.
Something.
Yeah, there's always 20 something. I like that.
It's 20 something.
Say from Alabama, 20 something.
20 something. Yeah, I mean, when Alabama, I don't know how big their lead was.
7, I think.
7. I kind of felt like they were going to run away with it. We choked that game away. I mean, that was a well played. They held me. They didn't let it get out of hand.
Yeah. No, I mean,
there were missed shots, and Tennessee was hitting shots when they needed them.
I don't know if they choked it away, but I think when you play that kind of game with this team, with that kind of defensive effort, where you hold Tennessee to their point total tonight, not a lot of points. That's a game Alabama should score more than they did tonight. Alabama didn't shoot the ball as well as they usually do. Their offense didn't score the points they usually do. And credit goes to Tennessee for that. But it seems like Alabama gave up a little of their offense to play a little bit better defensively, and that ends up what cost them those big droughts offensively.
Andrew said credit to Alabama though they actually played defense tonight. Do you think their defensive efficiency? And I'm pretty sure I read something before the game that Tennessee had scored 80 plus, and I think it was 9 straight conference games. And defense, did you think they looked better defensively than?
Oh yeah, they did play the ball. They played a lot better defense than even they did at Ole Miss, which I thought was better, 15 times better than they played at Kentucky. But again, you're exuding that energy down on the far side. Defensively, and that hurts you offensively, I believe. You also get to a situation where you get into foul trouble, where you're playing more aggressive defensively. And, Pringle gets into a little foul trouble. Nelson gets into a little foul trouble. Even Sears and the company had a couple of fouls early on. So, your defense can sometimes take away from your offense. And I thought it did a little bit tonight, but you got to play that kind of defense. You got to play better defense. So, the happy medium is you 400 and still play good defense. And,
they didn't let
didn't end up get that way.
Why did Oates not let Crosby play in the second half?
I have no details on why that was not the case. He hit a couple of big shots early on. He did not make a big factor in the game like he did say at Ole Miss. But I thought early on, with no Latrell Wrightsell, with him out, I thought it was important for him to score, and he did early on, but he didn't late. More Sam Walters in the second half. I thought Sam had a good moment there when Pringle was on the bench and Nelson was on the bench again with his foul trouble. So just one of those nights, a key shot here or there, maybe would have flipped it the other way. But Tennessee, I thought coming into the year, best team in the SEC, and that was before I knew Dalton Connect was Dalton Connect. Tennessee's got the lead now with 3 to play down the stretch.
I'm about to look up and see who they play. They have.
I can do that while you throw out some more comments.
All right, let's see. Tennessee will be a 1 seed, not too torn up over it. I agree that there will be one there.
So for the NCAA tournament, the 1 seed, they're right there on the line as it is, and I think they could play their way into a 1 seed, absolutely.
There's a Moonshine. The handle is not very complimentary of Nate Oates. Just the attention he's getting, his name's being brought up in a lot of big coaching jobs, so I feel like that in itself.
Just look at, Alabama's won the SEC championship 2 of the last 3 years in the regular season, and they were playing tonight for the chance to control their own destiny and be in charge of winning a 3rd in 4 years. So if you don't think Nate Oates is a good basketball coach, you're on the wrong platform.
Tennessee going on the road, beating the top 15 teams with their best player being taken out of the game. They are good. There was I read something about that earlier. I can find this stat sheet, but are they running a giant vacuum inside? Yeah, they're leaf blowing.
Cleanup happens immediately after the game here at Coleman Coliseum. They always want to keep this place spotless. But no, the cleanup crew's here at night, and they clean up right after the contest. So yeah, there is a vac blowing in the background while people are picking up trash all over the arena, like it happens in most places.
Right.
What are you looking for?
I'm trying to find. There was something.
South Carolina, by the way, is up next with Tennessee, which now becomes, South Carolina's shot to take over first place. So Tennessee and South Carolina next, and then Kentucky and Tennessee. So by no stretch of the imagination does Tennessee have this thing locked up yet.
Right. How's the airplane hangar tonight? The environment was incredible.
Yeah, packed house, sold out. Some not as many Tennessee fans as I thought. There were more Auburn fans when Auburn was here earlier this year, but a big number of Tennessee fans were here. They're used to being in the race lately. Tennessee along with Alabama and Auburn have been running the SEC with Kentucky's absence, and Tennessee fans travel well. But it was sold out, packed house, and the student section was packed all the way to the rafters, and it was a good atmosphere.
It was.
And it started early.
It started very early.
But you were here.
Yes, it was. Game day. It was a great game day game too. I mean, it was. Lost a grand tonight. 1,000% worth it.
Lost 1,000 on it?
I guess.
So you put money on Alabama. See, the way I do it, I never bet on my team.
That's the way to do it.
Right? So let's say tonight with mybookie.ag, let's say I wagered on this game. I would have wagered on Tennessee money line. And then either my team wins.
And you're happy.
And I'm happy. Or I win money and I'm not really happy, but I won money. So that's the way I would do it.
So you just express your fandom verbally.
For instance, if you're an Alabama fan, then you bet money on Tennessee, and then Alabama's either in first place or you win some money. If you're an Auburn fan, today you've got money on Mississippi State.
Or you bet money on Auburn.
Or you bet Auburn, you double dip. Okay, I see. Then you double dip. You're all in. You win.
I'm all in. Let's see.
We'll take a few more questions, and then we'll call it a night. Thank you to McCurry. Car and truck rental, McCurry, car and truck rental, including one location right here in beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. All your rental needs. Not a lot of rentals out there anymore. McCurry's got a great list. I'm in the Hyundai tonight, the Silva Hyundai, that they have loaned our company for a couple of days, and we rolled all the way down to Tuscaloosa in that thing today.
So
except for cars though, because she was here at the crack of dawn, and I was at the chili cook-off.
The chili cook-off. I don't know if it's frustration from Alabama fans because of the outcome of the game about this, or Auburn fans. But then we
never underestimate.
Never underestimate.
The rivals.
Then from an Auburn fan, Oates is a really good coach, and I agree. I mean, I agree. I don't think that there's any question about that. Did y'all get to talk to Terry on time? No, we didn't. I
talked to Tyler Booker.
Yeah, I talked to Tyler Booker too.
Yeah.
There was a lot of notable Alabama alumni and former, like Nick Saban, Terry Saban, Kalen DeBoer, Terry
Justin Thomas was here.
Justin Thomas.
Yeah. A couple other golfers. Can't remember who else was here golfing with us. So it was who was here today.
Yeah, everyone.
Including the ESPN crew. Billis was impressed with both teams. It's basketball, so if you lose this game, don't win the SEC championship, you can crank it up for the NCAA tournament.
Got a question for Jim.
Okay.
Bama never scored at school. Why was the Coleman Coliseum practicing the response? I didn't see that happening. How they would react to that.
They always have a security group that are here. They're always lines the court like I think should be done at every institution. Right?
Yeah, well, I don't know if this is what is being referred to, but they line up leading to the tunnel also.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if you saw a line of security people, but if you did, I think that you were probably seeing them line up to get the team and the coaches off the court.
What you have is 1, 2, 3, 4 rows on this side and 4 rows on that side that are not on the stands that actually interact with the tunnels where the players are coming in and out. So there are a lot of yellow shirts that line to get the players safely on and off the court, like should be done at every institution.
Someone said I saw that too. They came pouring out of the tunnel. I think that was just for after the game to make sure that all the players got off safely. All
There's
the coaches
security
got off
at
safely.
every Alabama football game too, just like that.
Nelson's a liability.
He's having to play out of his normal position. He's not a 5. But he'd gotten really good at playing that. Last 2 games, he's had some foul problems that have gotten into foul trouble. That happens with, I would reference Ralph Sampson for you old folks earlier this week on the show. Ralph Sampson was National Player of the Year back in the 80s UAB eliminated Virginia in the NCAA tournament because Ralph Sampson got into foul trouble. Zach Edey and Purdue, the reason Purdue won't win the national championship likely will be because there will be a game when Zach Edey gets into foul trouble and he's 7'4", and you're used to playing through a 7'4" guy. You know, fives get into foul trouble sometimes, and Grant Nelson has back-to-back games where he's gotten into foul trouble because he's playing down low where there's a lot of bodies and you get a lot of foul calls there.
Tennessee is just a better team. Played in simple. The game was very winnable, but they're better.
Tennessee is I think, a better team. I really do.
The best. I think that they are hands down the best in the SEC.
I think
If they play,
I don't know about hands down, but I think Tennessee's the best team in the SEC, and I think they're the conference's best chance at winning a national championship just because of the way they're built. Who's the second best team? You know, I think I would say it would be Auburn, and then I would think Alabama's next after that. So I'd probably rank, if I was going power ratings, Tennessee, Auburn, Alabama, 1, 2, 3 now. As we know in basketball, the third team could be the best team in the NCAA tournament. South Carolina could be. Florida, who is surging at the right time. Kentucky, who's surging at the right time. Any of those guys could actually go deeper into the tournament. But I think Alabama is probably the third best team in the SEC, just because they can be taken out of, you know, they are such an offensive powerhouse. They can be made to play left-handed sometimes against a really good defensive team out on the perimeter, and if the shots aren't falling. Where I think Tennessee, as you saw in the scoring tonight, a lot of double-figure guys. They've got some height and physicality inside. They've got some great shooters outside. They've got a great ball handler, a good defender in Vescovi. I just think they're a more balanced team. I think Kentucky has the potential to grow into that. I think Florida's growing into that. You know, I think Alabama has some cracks that can be exposed against a really good team. And it's happened twice against Tennessee this year, who I think is a really good team. That was really a good explanation.
I'll do that. What round do you expect Bama to exit the tournament? That's such a hard question for any team because it's like the match. You don't know the match.
That's right.
And I feel like that's what it. I mean, a lot of it kind of depends on and who has a good night. Who will be the Cinderella team?
That's right. I mean, go back to Auburn's Final Four run. New Mexico State, until they got lost to Virginia. New Mexico State was the toughest game, and that was in the first round. And then, you know, the round of 32, 16, and 8, they knocked off a bunch of powerhouses and lost in the Final Four. The tournament's is a fickle thing, so you don't know. You definitely can't predict that without seeing how the bracket draws out. And then, as you see every year when everybody sucks at picking brackets, you really can't pick brackets then either.
No, there's always an early upset. When do you think Reitzel will be back?
I don't know. I mean, that's 4 games. Houston, you know, gym closed tonight, not even dressed. So I don't know. I don't know when he'll be back. And what they're saying is, everyone's saying it off the record in the pregame when I was talking to them. You know, it's until he's able to handle the lights, the noise, without getting dizzy at all.
Was he out here all game?
He was on the bench.
Well, I feel like that's a good sign then, because it was loud and flashing lights,
but
stuff like that.
You can't keep your balance, not get dizzy when you're running around with bright lights coming off of a concussion, then they're going to play it safe with him.
Yeah, rightfully so.
You know, if he was ready, he would have played tonight. It was that big of a game.
A Bediako. The amount of...
Oh, Bediako every time.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time. I wonder if he wishes he'd stay.
Yeah. But I think he blew an ACL. I'm not sure. So wherever he's playing in G League, I think he's injured. So, you know, chances are if he got injured there, he probably would have been injured here. So.
Who was South Carolina's last game? I can find out.
South Carolina really doesn't scare me. I didn't mention them there in my whole SEC rundown because I just don't think they're built to. They haven't played the same competition as everyone else. I just don't think they are built to do well.
They have Tennessee at home on Wednesday, and then
I would take Tennessee in that one.
They play on the road at Mississippi State.
I would take Mississippi State in that one. So I think they lose 2 more games there.
So that's a non. Because someone said earlier, if South Carolina beats Tennessee at home on Wednesday, they'll win the SEC. This was an opinion. Honestly,
they right now are in whether or not in sole possession. Them and Alabama have 4 losses. Tennessee has 3. So yeah, if they win, they would, it would be a 3-way tie. There's no tiebreaker. South Carolina would, at that point, with 1 game to play, I'm sure the SEC.
That Auburn hoping for a 6-way tie. That one's. I wonder if. I mean, yeah.
Technically, it could happen still because Kentucky and Alabama are, Kentucky and Auburn have 5 losses. Alabama still plays Florida before they end at home for Arkansas. Florida on the road. I would not pencil that in as an Alabama win. I think Alabama loses that game to Florida, then beats Arkansas, so they finish with 5 losses. Kentucky gets Tennessee, so
It's going to be a 5-way tie. So
I would bet a no on the 5-way tie, but I could definitely see Alabama losing before we get to that.
So for a 5-way tie to happen,
Auburn needs to win out, Kentucky needs to win out, Alabama lose at Florida, beat Arkansas, South Carolina beat Tennessee, then Kentucky beat Tennessee, and somebody beat Mississippi State beat South Carolina. That gives you 5 teams with 5 losses.
The odds of that happening are probably slim.
I did that off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's very impressive. I
Pretty
didn't
good,
even follow
pretty good.
it.
Not bad for Caillou. All right, let's wind it down. Got a thought? Final thought? This your last time in Coleman this year?
It is. Yeah. You'll be here next Saturday.
I'll be here for the Arkansas game next Saturday at 11. And you have one more Auburn in you?
Yes. Auburn, Georgia on Saturday.
Georgia next Saturday to wrap up that. And then Nashville for the SEC tournament. We'll be there for that, giving you all the coverage. Thanks to our friends at McCurry Car and Truck Rental. We hope you guys have a safe drive wherever you're driving tonight. We're about to go our separate ways and head back to Birmingham as well.
We are.
Yep.
Move the plane.
You got big plans on Sunday?
Rest.
Rest?
Right.
I think church and rest for me as well.
Yeah,
Gotta
church
do
and
some laundry. Laundry day for me.
Taylor, you were being way too nice to him. We can just end it there. I try to be nice.
No, say something mean.
No, I don't have anything mean
How
to
much
say.
money did you have bet on Tuesday?
Well, I had them in a parlay, and then I live bet them. So I don't know total. But if Ole Miss won, then my parlay hit. And then obviously, but I don't know. Not a ton. I don't bet a lot. I don't bet large dollar amounts.
I had $5,000 on Tennessee.
The same number of Ole Miss won. Woo! Okay, my parlay hit. Good night.
Oh, I'm gonna check mine.
Oh wait, do you want to let the people know?
No.
Okay.
I know I won my big one.
Okay. Good night, guys.
Good night, everybody. So long. Thank you, McCurry.